A lot of people might be thinking that, you know, they can't do a house, like they're not skilled enough, but that's not actually true. We are in Honduras, starting our day out with a torch house build today. We have a team of friends, more than anything, to 𝐘𝐨𝐿𝐄𝐼𝐿, who's going to be building a torch house today. And so we were invited to tag along and help build a torch house. And so today I think we're going to focus on just a refresher. That way you guys have some sort of reference and some sort of video to look at to catch up on the builds and how to kind of remember some of the numbers as far as sizes and just kind of the order of the wood and all of those little things. So that's what we're going to do today. Watch this. Stay on. Hey, all right guys, so step number one is we're going to set up all four corners. And obviously it depends on the land if you need to set up all the boards and the space, but if the posts are being set in the ground, they're 16 feet and on the diagonal is 272 and then 16 feet in a square. And then what you do is you'll cross your measuring tape from exterior to exterior, from nail to nail, you'll have 272. That's the goal. So what we want to do is get all the posts set first, the four corners, before you do anything else. As you can see right now, we're going to go ahead and start organizing the siding boards, and they do have a special way to be organized. The lip has to be facing up and out. So if you'll come over here, I'll show you real quick. So the lip right here has to be facing that way. If this is the exterior part of the house, this lip goes up and it needs to be on that facing up. The next thing you want to do is make sure you have 16 boards on your low side and then 19 on the rest of them. Usually 19 is going on the back wall because that's the highest one. The side walls are also 19, but you're really only going to go up 16 until you start figuring out how to cut that angle in, and you'll use those other three boards to close the gap in. Just take into account the layout of the land. So if you have a post that's longer and a slope that's sloped more, you may want to put that one in the post hole that's going to need the most height. Another tip is we don't want to pack one side in, we want to pack them all in. And you don't want to get ahead of yourself and just start beating on one side, because then it'll shift the post out of alignment. So you want to equally pack. So we always pick the high side and put this first board on right here. The reason you do that is because you don't want to start over there and then you have to dig a trench and try to get the rest of the boards in the ground. So we don't want to do that. We start on the high side, set this board in. And then you go back around once you've got them all in. Go back around and put these on the top to make sure your posts don't get unlevel. It's crucial to get your house as square as possible. And it's also very important that you look down this line. If you look down, you want to make sure this face is flush with that board over there. A lot of people leave it twisted, and when you go to nail a board here, you have this huge gap in here. So what you want to do is, you see how this board is flush right here? You want to make sure that the face of this, because also that'll affect your measurement. So make sure it's square when you go to put the post in the ground. That's one of the biggest mistakes we make. So we want to try to make that face flush. Anywhere you can. If somebody's got a measuring tape, like Cesar down there, you always want to grab the tape measure and measure like this so that they can do their job down there. So it's all about teamwork. The house cannot be done by just one person. It's very, very difficult. We got to work as a team always. Guys, so just so you know, we're on the high side right here, door is going to go here and a window is going to go over there. So this is a pretty ideal layout since we have the last wall coming in on this side. So we're going to put all of our, we're not going to build this wall. This will be our last wall. So we're going to go ahead and mark all the posts for the floor right now. And right here, we're going to start 36 inches for the door. And on the other side is 32. We're going to have 3 posts on this wall because there's too big of a gap. $67.5. And it's important that you write post, P for post. Don't want to fill in the holes yet until we know this wall is straight. So if you look down here, kind of eyeball this and look down there and make sure it's not snaking. As you can see, the wall wants that tension. So before we start filling it in, we want to make sure that we don't fill in the holes until we know that it's going to make it straight. Once you've got all four post walls and everything up, don't put the siding up. Don't get in a hurry and start putting the siding up until you get these floor joists going. Because if you put the walls up, it's going to be very difficult to start cutting those floor joists. Instead of fighting you and this and getting it all in, you can do what he's doing right there and put a little nail in right there. That way you don't have to hold this. You can go ahead and have it like this, and then you can go back and start nailing in as you need it. It makes it a much easier process. We're going to measure out this right here, 4 3/4. We're going to come out here and mark our 4 3/4 right there. Double check. Just a little over 4 1/2, so 4 3/4 is good. Notching it out so that it fits up in here. Typical Honduran door is going to go up to about 71 inches tall. So you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 inside. So basically this one is going to go off the ground just a little bit right there, like that, under my tape measure, lift it up, and it's going to go up past our 14th board. Doesn't really matter how much, you just need a little bit more. That way it has something to catch when it hits the wall. So door is going to get cut out on the sides, the hinges first, and we'll get into that right now. You want to make sure you're above the lip right here. And you leave a gap so your chainsaw blade can fit through there. This is important to have that gap. Keep it still. Put one facing out, one on the bottom facing out. Do the same thing on this side, because we're going to do the top one and the bottom one going out, and then we're going to go outside and nail the rest back in so it doesn't look so bad. We usually have it coming out like this. This is good. Before you start nailing in, you want to bend these over so that when you're nailing in, the nails are really, this one should be up. Or bend this one up if you can. If it's not, really close. I wouldn't worry about it. All right, so now we're gonna go back. And we're gonna do 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. And then over here on this side, we're gonna do 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. And then we're gonna bend them over on the inside. And then we'll talk about the hinges. You don't wanna do a straight line because it could crack the other side of the wood. And we don't wanna have that forced crack. We're gonna caddy a corner just a little bit, maybe an inch apart. There's a couple ways to do it, of course. You could draw a line with a pencil. That way you don't lose your spot. So when we finish nailed everything inside, we're gonna come back in and nail these down so nobody gets hurt. All right, so safe. We'll do the same thing over here. We got them all in there. All right, now we're gonna cut the hinges out. It's important you just cut the whole window. You gotta do the hinges first, install the hinges, and then come back and cut these 3 sides. Now we go outside. Come on. Mark just reminded me that if we are nailing and we don't have a drill, then we need to just cut a little section. But if we have a drill, we can just cut this whole left side out, which is great. We have a drill. All right, now we're gonna cut this side out only to this groove right here. So we're gonna start right there, go all the way down to here, and go all the way across. And then it should pop open inward. Always check to see if someone is behind the window so you don't cut them. All right, we get approval from somebody over there. That's how you do a window, right? That's how you do it. It can be a 2x4 or a 4x4, whatever's left over. So we're gonna basically make a notch out something in this nature. It's done. You want to make sure this head is facing up, because otherwise it'll just fall out. So you want to make sure it's facing up. Important things as far as getting started and kind of the door and the window and kind of how the roof is designed. You'll kind of have a good layout of how the house needs to be built. Right here, all we really have to do left is cut the sides off and then do the trim and install the lock on the door and then finish that last wall. And we got a couple more pieces of tin, but other than that, that's pretty much an easy, simple house build. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys remember from your previous trips, and you guys can kind of use this as kind of just a refresher more than anything. So God bless. See you guys next summer.